So by now, I know that most of the black women on this app and many of the non-black women know about the brick herd round the world. And ever since I heard about this a few days ago, and I've been thinking about the men's response, or lack thereof, I keep thinking about this study. Watch this clip and I'll be right back.
What do hormones have to do with what goes on here? Now, if we're talking about humans at their worst, right off the bat, we know which hormone to round up: testosterone. So what's the deal with testosterone? Why are males of every species and every culture such a pain in the rear on this planet here? It's because testosterone makes you aggressive. Testosterone doesn't make you aggressive. Here's what it actually does. Take 5 male rhesus monkeys, put them in a group, let them form a dominance hierarchy. A defeats B 3 times, B never defeats A. This is the hierarchy. Now take C and inject C with testosterone. Give C like so much testosterone, like every amygdaloid neuron is growing antlers in that guy, just enormous. So now does C get involved in more fights? Absolutely. Is this the pattern that occurs now? Is C suddenly challenging A and B and rising in the heart? Absolutely not. C never does a thing with A and B. What happens instead is C becomes a total nightmare to D and E. Testosterone does not invent aggression. Testosterone exaggerates pre-existing social patterns of aggression. Exaggerates pre-existing social patterns of aggression. And it turns out it does something even more subtle than that. And this is people beginning to realize what testosterone really does is when your status is being challenged, testosterone makes you do whatever you need to do to maintain status. Now, if you're a baboon and somebody's challenging your status, the way you maintain it is you have a fight with them. It's synonymous. But if you're human, things get more complicated. And for example, you can have an economic game where people get status by making generous offers and give people testosterone, and they become more generous in the game. In other words, if you shot up a whole bunch of Buddhist monks with testosterone, they would run amok doing random acts of kindness all over the place. The trouble isn't that testosterone makes us aggressive. The trouble is that we reward aggression with status so readily.
I think that a lot of men have told themselves a convenient lie to excuse bad behavior, the lie of testosterone. It's the same lie that religion has told about how men are little more than animals who can't control their behavior, and so women are forced to think double time on their behalf in order to keep ourselves safe from them. But the patriarchy is just a lie in the same way that white supremacy is a lie. People who were lacking or felt inferior in some way felt the need to beat down and brainwash other people over generations in order to exploit and oppress those people. And ultimately, we're all waking up now, and we can see that the way that white supremacy and patriarchy does things is fucking bullshit. It's bullshit for the oppressors, and it's bullshit for the oppressed. And it's quite literally killing us. Just like white supremacy has sold people of all other races the myth of their superiority, that they created all the culture, the technology, they're smarter, they're cleaner, they're more civilized, the patriarchy has fed us a lie about who men are. They're the protectors, they're the providers, they're the leaders, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to say that men protecting women never happens. In 2017, 2 men were stabbed to death on a Portland train defending 2 black teenage girls. What I will say is I've never seen it. I've never experienced it. I've seen women jump a man on the street when he attacked one of their friends. Women are fucking wild tigers when it comes to protecting each other. Just a few months ago, there was that woman that jumped on a man's back while he was essaying her friend and got thrown off a cliff. I've seen women help protect each other from predators in the bar. And it was women, not men, who heard 20-year-old me talking on a payphone one night about how my boyfriend had just tried to kill me and helped me and got me to safety. But as the clip shows, testosterone doesn't make men boss up to fight the men above them on the hierarchy. It also doesn't make men feel more kindly and protective towards the people below them on the hierarchy. In our society, it makes them punch down to protect their own status, their own ego. What it does is make them fucking monsters to the people they perceive as lesser. This is a coping skill called displacement, and it's almost a trope in therapy. A man feels humiliated by his boss, but he can't beat up his boss because his boss is higher ranking, so he goes home and beats up his wife and kids. So when, for example, a man feels his status has been slighted by a woman who's not interested, he violently attacks her. And the other men stood around and did nothing because, like women, they know that men are fucking dangerous. Because we live in a society full of unjust hierarchies that rewards aggression with status. 100 years ago, a poor white man could take out his aggression from being yelled at by his boss on whatever random poor black man happened to be passing on the street. He could make up some bullshit excuse, like the black man was rude and didn't move off the sidewalk to let the white man pass, and later on that night, that man would be lynched. And then all the white people in that community would be like, well, he should have moved up the sidewalk. That guy was a troublemaker anyways. While all the black community was like, no, that was really fucked up. What the fuck's wrong with you? And 100 years later, we've never learned our lesson because people are still punching down.